Yeah, very good morning. So, in the during the last lecture, we have seen three numerical methods to solve a first order ordinary differential equation, which has the standard form dy by dx equals to f of xy, along with the initial data. We have this is, let's say, y at x naught is equals to y naught. Okay. And we have found that in the, at least in the Picard's approximation, we have seen through example that the Picard's approximation essentially converges to the analytical solution of the original equation. Okay. So that at least we have seen. Okay. So we can assume here that the Picard's theorem is now acceptable, because the proof of the theorem is beyond the scope of this course, okay, because it uses two variables and so on. So fine. Now let's move further, and for the special cases where this standard form takes a very special case, okay, so kind of special form, what we can say. Okay, and we are mostly interested in linear, okay, linear equations. Then we will see what can do with the non-linear equations. Can we reduce it, or can we transform it, transform a non-linear equation into into a linear equation by using some transformation and so on. Okay, so how to deal a special type of differential equation? Let's see one by one. Okay. Now, the very first equation, which you may also be already familiar about it, that is called linear differential equation of first order. And if the right hand side, this f of x comma y, is linear in y, okay, means you can write as a f of x y. You can write as f of x comma y is linear in y, means something like a my plus c, kind of linear means straight line, but the m or c here not on is it, they are allowed to be a function of x. So if they are allowed to be a function of x, that also says that is a linear in y. Okay, that we say that this is a linear in y. So if the right hand side takes to this type of special form, then we will say that this new form of ODE, okay, it is a linear first order ordinary differential equation. And if you satisfy all the three properties of being a linear differential equation, it also satisfies. You can see the y and its derivative power are of degree 1. There is no transcendental function of y or any of its derivative. The third thing is there is no product term of y or any of its derivative present. So this is a linear equation. And if you try to identify what is the order is highest order derivative is first order. Okay, so first order, and moreover with degree 1. Okay, so there are two ways to look at this how why we are calling that as linear first order differential equation. Okay, right. So now the question arises is how to solve this equation. So maybe you're already aware about the solution as well. Okay, so you have the equation. Let me just give you the steps how to obtain that solution if you are already familiar about it. So you have, this is the standard equation, dy by dx plus p of x y is equals to q of x. So let me make it small only. So qx, let's be with the notations. Okay, so what is there is you just choose a function of x. So you, let's say, let mu of x, I'm just being with my this lecture notations. Okay, so which I will be using further. So let mu of x, okay, be differentiable. Okay, differentiable, and it's such that that mu of x times y, that derivative is equals to y dash plus p of x y times mu x. Okay, means this y dash plus px means you are going to multiply the equation both sides. You are going to multiply by this equation by a function of x, which is such that means the left hand side can be written as a total derivative, in other words. Okay, so what will how it will help you is this is then the what will be the equation if you multiply this equation mu x. So what you will have is mu x time y dash plus p of x y is equals to mu of x times q of x. Now if this mu of x is such that, so this if mu of x is such that this takes the left hand side to this mu of x times y dash, so then what will happen is, so then you have mu of x times y dash is equals to mu of x times q of x, and now you can integrate both sides. Okay, and you can show that that's going to be mu of x times y is equals to integration of q of x times mu of x dx plus one arbitrary constant c. Okay, so if you are able to find out such mu of x, okay, so that only possible when it satisfies the following condition. Okay, so mu of x times y full derivative is equals to the left hand side of the equation after multiplying by mu. Okay, so if we are able to find out the solution of this, we are through. So this mu x can be determined now. Okay, let's see. Okay, so then from here you can see what will be the solution, final solution. If the such mu x exists, y equals to 1 by mu x time integration. So you just transfer this mu on the right side of it. Okay, right. So now I just now mu of x times y dash is equals to what was that, mu of x times y dash plus p of x times y. Okay, so that's a right hand side, it's a left hand side. This is if now use the product tool here. So I'm just use the abused notation. So mu y dash plus mu dash y is equals to mu y dash plus p of x times mu y. So mu y dash, let's cancel. Okay, the very first thing is mu x, we are searching for a non-zero function. So it's a mu x is a non-zero. We are saying mu x is a non-zero. Okay, so that's fine. So this is if and only if this. Now this is if and only if you have this is mu dash y is equals to p of x times mu y. And since we are also interested in searching of non-trivial solution. Okay, so we are searching for non-trivial solution. So y is also non-zero. So I'm assuming here that y is a non-trivial solution of the differential equation. Okay, non-trivial means non-zero solution. So this y also we are also getting rid of this. Now here you can use the variable separable method. So you have this is d mu by dx is equals to p of x times mu, and for which you know what will be the solution is mu of x is equals to e to the power integration of x dx. So I'm not adding any arbitrary constant here, because anyway you are going to use this as a factor in the original differential equation, and in the final solution you will see there is a arbitrary constant already. So it doesn't matter, it is completely immaterial right now, because for the general solution of first order ODE you will have one arbitrary constant in the solution. Okay, so here in the this mu we are not adding any arbitrary constant. So this mu also called as integrating factor. So it's also known as integrating factor of this 1. Okay, so it is called, this is, let me denote this equation as 1. Okay, why it is called integrating factor? Because if you multiply, so factor, so if you multiply both sides, then you will be able to integrate both sides very easily, and it will make the left hand side be a total differential of some another function of x. Okay, which was, that is d times d of mu x into y. Okay, so this has some name attached with it, so that's called integrating factor of y. Okay, so you have mu of x is equals to e to the power integration p of x dx. Now the question is, now it also proves the existence of solution. Okay, so provided what is required condition. So if you are trying to apply the Picard's theorem here, what is necessary is function needs to be f of x comma y need to be continuous. Okay, so what is f of x comma y? If you look at, so what is f of x comma y is equals to q of x time q of x minus p of x y. So now you can apply the algebra rules, like sum of two continuous function is continuous, a product of two continuous function is continuous. That also available, these results are also available in function of two variables as well. Okay, so p of x is so if q and p, if this p and q functions are continuous functions, then f is continuous. Okay, and what about dou f by dou y? From here I hope that can be determined, that is going to be minus p of x. So f will be continuous, dou f by dou y will be continuous, because whenever p and q are continuous. So it will establish the Picard's theorem, which says, which gives you guarantee that there exists a unique solution passing through x naught comma y naught. There is a unique solution passing through the point x naught comma y naught. Okay, right. So existence and uniqueness will be guaranteed once you have p and q to be a continuous function. Okay, inside the region where you are considering. Okay, so if px and qx are, suppose 1 by x, suppose px is 1 by x, okay, and qx is 1 by x square. So you can't take the region as a rectangle which includes the 0, because they are not continuous there. So Picard's theorem is not applicable. Okay, however, if you are trying to identify the integral curve passing through the point, let's say 1 comma 1, in that case 1 by x and 1 by x, okay, the Picard's theorem is applicable. You can create an artificial rectangle there, where you can certainly apply the Picard's theorem for the given equation. Okay, I think that detail is enough now for this to existence and uniqueness of the solution. And we have the final solution is, we have the final solution. I can write that y is equals to 1 by mu of x time integration q of x time mu of x dx plus c divided by mu of x. Certainly we require mu x to be non-zero, right? Because we are going to we are going to divide both sides by mu now. Okay, and we are looking for a non-trivial solution. Also function y is differentiable. So function y is differentiable means, because we are going to perform dy by dx and want to verify that whether it satisfies the solution or not. So you certainly require mu x to be a non-zero on the entire interval. Okay, and what if you look at this mu x definition, this can never be a never be a zero, right? It's never be a zero function, because e to the power will never be zero. Only in the tending to infinity, if you have minus here, so that is let's say limiting case. Okay, right. So we have this. So maybe you have learned the following formula: y into integrating factor is equals to integration q of x time integrating factor dx plus c you will substitute here. What is the integrating factor? In this case is that is mu of x. That's going to be e to the power integration of p of x dx. Now, this need to be identified carefully. Okay, e to the power integration p of x dx. So what is p of x? Is the coefficient of y. Okay, in the standard form of first order linear differential equation. Okay, so this is a final solution. Okay, so when you are suppose when you are going to some problem or solving the problem, okay, so you can directly use now this formula. So there is no need to do this derivation, but you are certainly supposed to find out the integrating factor and directly you can write the solution. Okay, there's no need to show that mu into y is a dash is equals to the so and so. That's already established. Okay, so you have to find out that correct integrating factor. That is a major concern when you are only stick with the solution, final solution. Okay, right. Okay, so this one, yes.
In the starting question, can you explain how you prove first equation? Means you can define mu x and then you can explain this equation. Can you explain first equation mu x y all over differentiation?
This one from here
Yeah.
or this one?
Yeah, first one.
This one. So we are assuming that we are starting with the assumption that let mu x is a non-zero and differentiable function, and which is such that this is the okay. This is we are assuming. That's a very positive. Okay. Now once we are assuming, then see, it's a like of inverse problem. Okay. I'm not first hand. I'm not giving you what is the definition of mu I'm going to use. Okay, like what I have got here and the final stage is mu of x is equals to e to the power integration p of x dx, and that you can certainly show that is going to be differentiable because px is continuous. Then fundamental theorem of calculus says that integration p of x dx is also differentiable. Composition of two differentiable function is differentiable, and you can say mu x is a differentiable function, and this is non-zero. Okay, so all of the things are concluded at the end. It's a kind of inverse problem. We have started with the assumption that suppose there is a differentiable function, and which is that the left hand side, we are concerned about the left hand side. Okay, if it is become a total differential of some function, then it will be easy to integrate. But it is not possible always that that it will be always be you see, this can straightforward, you cannot guarantee that that's going to be written as a some y into y dash or something some another function. So certainly you require an integrating factor, so some factor is required when you multiply it. Okay, so through which you are going to multiply, and then in the resulting equation this may take a shape. Okay, what we are trying to have. Okay, now when this will happen, suppose this happens. Okay, so here I have given you, suppose this happens, suppose this is all these things are true. Okay, then I have tried to explain what it mean, and then what will be, how you will be able to. So now see, suppose this is true, this is true, mu of x times y full derivative equals to mu of x q of x, and you can perform the integration both sides so that you can get rid of this derivative, and you will get mu of x times y is equals to integration of this and plus additional constant. Okay, now I have focused now back on this. So when this will be true, so this if this is true means, so I have started with this mu of x times y dash is equals to this, if and only if, but when if and only you apply the derivative rule on the left hand side, open it up and cancel whatever you can cancel, you get simple form. Okay, simplified form, and certainly you are looking for a non-trivial solution, you are not looking for a zero solution. Okay, so mu y is also get rid of, you are only having the function of mu, means like it's a linear in mu, which is easy to solve by using the variable separable method. Okay, so for which you know the what is the solution is going to be this.
Okay, sir.
Okay, right.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so I have already explained this. This method is as follows. So multiply the given linear first order ODE by a differential function, and it is chosen such that this happens, and which is solvable, right? You can integrate both sides and perform and add arbitrary constant. You can find out the solution finally. And then, as I equated mu of x times y dash is equals to mu times this, and then getting mu. So that's only, so the above suggests that mu x must be chosen in a manner that this all this stuff already have explained to you. Okay, that you can look after when you have this slide as well. So the above suggests that mu x must be chosen in a manner. So this is a mu time y full derivative, and this is a left hand side of the original equation, mu time y dash plus py. Now that's going to be mu y dash will get cancelled, y will get cancelled, and you will have the, you have applied the variable separable method here, and which result in the following solution. Then the y takes the following form. Okay, right. So the above proves the existence of a solution provided p and q are continuous, and also it also gives you the uniqueness of the solution once the function p is continuous, right? So it already has answered. Okay, now let's take one of the problem from here. Okay, so see, whatever we have discussed the problem for linear in y. Okay, y and its derivative. You can similarly, you can you can get the result for the equation when linear in x. Means if you have the standard form like dx by dy plus p of y, x is equals to q of y. Okay, suppose you have this form. It may be happen, means like, see, it may be sometime possible that it may not be linear in y, but it may be a linear in x by some simply you can find this form for some cases. Okay, so which you can solve by finding the integrating factor. That's going to be mu of y, that is going to be e to the power integration of p of y dy. So here you are assuming that x as a function of y, means x is dependent and y is independent variable, and you can write the final solution. So I am skipping this result, this theory. Okay, means linear in x, what to do? You are going to write a similar result. Okay, only change the role of x and y, and you will get the solution. Okay, so that part you can complete it. So let me take any problem here. So let's take second problem. Okay, so I'm just going to solve the second problem. So I have second problem, or I will take first, third. I'm taking third problem. Why it is so, I will let you know. Okay, so third problem, if I take, which is as follows: x times dy by dx minus 3y is equals to x to the power 4. See, the first and second problem already in the standard form, dy by dx plus p of xy is equals to q of x. Okay, right. So when you want to compare with the standard form, you must have the dy by dx coefficient is 1. Okay, if it is not 1, whether it's a constant or it's a function of x, you have to get rid of it. So I certainly get rid of this. So dy by dx minus 3 by x y is equals to x power 4 by x, that is x cubed. Now this is in the standard form, that linear first order differential equation. So this is an important step, you can say. Okay, right. Now if you compare, what will be p of x, that is going to be minus 3 by x, and what will be q of x is x cube. Now you can certainly write the integrating factor, that is equals to mu of x, that's going to be e to the power integration of p of x dx, and that is equals to you have, this is going to be x to the power minus 3. Okay, so x to the power minus 3, that's going to be integrating factor. Okay, now I can find out the solution. Now the final solution is y into integrating factor, that is x to the power minus 3, that equals to integration of q is x cube into integrating factor x cube into x power minus 3. So that's going to be 1 dx plus c. So that's going to be x plus c. Now, this will be implying, so this will imply y is equals to 1 by, or not 1 by, okay, x power minus 3 is going in this side, so it's going to be x to the power 4 plus c times x cube. So this is a final solution for this equation. Okay, right. So this is the final solution. If you assume some condition is there, suppose some condition is there, y at 1 is 1 or y at 0 is 0. So then y at 0 is 0 will give you c is 0. Y at 1 is 1 will give you 1 equals to 1 plus c times 1. C is also 0 at that case. Okay, so you can fit the initial conditions here. Okay, right. Okay, so for the first problem, if you careful, what will be p? P of x is equals to the coefficient of y on the left side. So y dash minus y equals to x. Okay. Okay, so p of x is equals to, you can verify that that's going to be minus 1. For this case, q of x is equals to 1. Sorry, x. Okay, now for the second case problem, I can write what is p of x is 1 by x and what is q of x is 3x. Straightforward if you compare with it. Okay, with the original equation. Okay. Right. So now next equation, which is a non-linear, okay, but it can be reduced to be a linear case. Okay, this equation is known as Bernoulli equation. Okay, so where you can see the left hand side is okay, but on the right hand side you have q of x times y to the power n. Okay, so this make it non-linear whenever n is not equals to 0 and 1. So if n equals to 0, y to the power 0 is 1. So it's a linear case. When n equals to 1, so qx times y. So you can take p of x minus q of x times y is equals to 0. So it's again a linear. Okay, so for n not 0 and not equals to 1, it is going to be a non-linear equation. Okay, and it is of first order and of first degree. Okay, right. So how to solve this equation? So we are going to talk about Bernoulli equation whenever n is non-zero and non-1, not equals to 1. Okay, now you just multiply both sides by y to the power minus n dy by dx plus p of x time y to the p of x time y to the power 1 minus n is equals to q of x. Okay, right. Since we are looking for a non-trivial solution, so all these things are possible. Okay, right. So if n is not 0 and non-zero, so y equals to suppose see if n is that doesn't matter, right? N is 0 or n is 1 even. So y equals to 0 will always be a solution. Okay, so we are looking for a non-trivial solution. Okay, right. Now you look at this carefully, y to the power 1 minus n, and this is this term. So there is a relation between them. So if you suppose v equals to y to the power 1 minus n, y is equals to v2 is equals to y to the power 1 minus n. So what is dv by dx? If you try to find out what this is going to be 1 minus n times y to the power minus n dy by dx. So y to the power minus n times dy by dx can be replaced by constant multiple of dv by dx, right? Okay, and which is good, right? Which is better than the previous equation, which was non-linear. So let's proceed with this transformation. So then this implies. So if you use this v equals to this and dv by dx in the here, okay, So you just substitute this into this equation. What you will get is you have 1 upon 1 minus n time dv by dx plus p of x time v is equals to q of x. Now you can get rid of this constant. You just multiply by 1 minus n. What you will have is dv by dx plus 1 minus n time p of x v is equals to 1 minus n time q of x. So now I hope you are with me that multiply by a constant will not change the role as a function of x here, and also not change the role on the right side. That's a function of x only. Okay, so this is a linear first order differential equation in v and x, okay, which can be solved. So for this you can find the integrating factor. So mu is equals to e to the power integration of p of x dx, and then you can write the final solution. That's going to be y time, not y, that's going to be v time mu is equals to integration q mu dx plus c. So this is not right now in the final form of solution. So you have to certainly replace v by final step is y to the power 1 minus n. Okay, then you will find a final solution of the original equation in terms of y and x. Okay, so this will, that if you replace v by y to the power 1 minus n, then you will get a final solution of the original. Okay, so whatever we have talked about just now, for again I'm repeating, it's a Bernoulli equation in y and x. So suppose you have a Bernoulli equation in x and y, so you will change the role of x and y and apply the same result, similar result, to reduce it into a linear differential equation form and do solving. Okay, right. So I have already mentioned n equals to 0 or n equals to 1 gives linear first order ODE. And we have n is not 0 and not 1, then situation is not simple. So therefore we take the following transformation, which will reduce Bernoulli equation into a linear first order ODE v and x. So then if you use this transformation, then it will reduce the it will replace y to the power minus n dv by dx is equals to, you have here the constant is missing, 1 upon 1 minus n time dv by dx, and therefore we have, this is here 1 upon 1 minus n dv by dx plus p of x time v equals to q of x. Okay, right. So now solving the above by using standard method for linear first order ODE. Okay, and don't forget to replace v by y to the power 1 minus n. So let me make this correct in the final solution. Okay, so that will be the final solution for the Bernoulli equation. So let's take one example here. So I will take this third example again. Okay, so here in the third example, the very first thing is you have to write in the standard form. So I'm just writing the standard form, means I have to make dy by dx coefficient is 1. So I will divide both sides by x. So what you will get is dy by dx plus y by x is equals to minus 2 times x to the power 5 y to the power 4. See, whenever you have a standard form here, see, when you have this given equation, it will be first you will try whether it's a linear or not. If it is not linear, straightforward, it will be non-linear when you have y to the power something not equals to 1, okay, or 0, you can say. Okay, so if it is not 0 or not 1, then you can certainly try to write as a Bernoulli equation. If that also fails, then you will look after for other methods. Okay, right. So now this is going to be this in the standard form now. Okay, so you can see this is a Bernoulli equation with n equals to 4. Bernoulli equation with n equals to 4 because q of x sitting. So q of x is minus 2 times x to the power 5. Okay, so y to the power 4. So 4 is the you can say Bernoulli equation of order n equals to 4. with n equals to 4. Okay, so you have the transformation now. V is equals to y to the power 1 minus n, that is 1 minus 4. So that's going to be y to the power minus 3. So this implies dv by dx is equals to minus 3 times y to the power minus 4 times dy by dx. Now you can see, if you write in the form when you are going to multiply both sides by y to the power minus 4, then you will have y to the power minus 4 times dy by dx plus y to the power minus 3 by x is equals to minus 2x to the power 5. Now replace the non things now. Okay, so this will imply that 1 upon minus 3 times dv by dx plus this is v by x is equals to minus 2x to the power 5. Okay, now I will write the linear in v and x. So I will write down in the standard form now. Okay, so this will implies here. So what will you get is dv by dx minus 3 by xv is equals to 6x to the power 5. Minus minus will plus here. And now what will be the integrating factor here is going to be e to the power integration of minus 3 by x dx, and which is nothing but x to the power minus 3 that you can get. Okay, right. So now once you have this integrating factor, I can able to write the solution now. So the solution will be b into integrating factor, that is x to the power minus 3 is equals to integration of q is the right side, that is 6 times x to the power 5. Okay, 6 times x to the power 5 into integrating factor, that is x to the power minus 3 dx plus some arbitrary constant c. So that's equals to integration 6 times x square plus x square dx plus c. So now this is equals to 2 times x cube plus c. Now this will imply v is equals to 2 plus c times x cube. Okay, right. Okay, sorry. This is 2 times cx cube plus 2 times x to the power 6. Okay, so now this will imply, so since we have to replace at add y by y to the power minus 3 is equals to times x to the power 6 plus c times x cube. Now you can use the, if you have given data, okay, that initial condition, okay, then you can certainly fix this arbitrary constant as well. Okay, right. Now if I want to comment for the other problems, you can certainly look at this case. This is going to be n equals to 2 and this is going to be n equals to with 3. Okay, and you can try to transform it into first order linear differential equations. Okay, and find the final solution for this original equation. Okay, now another special case, suppose it's not a linear first order differential equation. So you have, now we are going to get back to our original equation, that is dy by dx equals to f of xy. Okay, so we are getting back to the that result. So we have, okay, now suppose f has some special property, okay, means kind of homogeneous, it's going to be homogeneous of degree n or something. What is the definition of being a homogeneous function is, you can have this, I'm just writing here, I'm just giving here. So a function is said to be homogeneous of degree n if either of the following is true. Okay, so I'm just going to parallelly, I'm just let me give you example. Let's say f of x comma y is equals to x plus 5. Okay, so let me see whether any of them is or all of them are true or not. So if either of the following true means all of them are equivalent actually. Okay, all of them are equivalent, whether first is true, second is true, third is true. Okay, so you can use any one of them with which way you are comfortable. So I can certainly write this as x time 1 plus y by x. I can also write as y into 1 plus x by y. Okay, and also you can see f of lambda x comma lambda y. If I x replaced by lambda x and y replaced by lambda y, so it can be replaced, then it's lambda time x plus y, and that is equals to lambda time f of x comma y. Okay, right. So what is this? So this is a you can say this is a x time some function of, let's say, g1 function of y by x, and this is of the form y into some another function of x by y. So if you compare with this, so here n is equals to 1. Okay, so this is a homogeneous function of degree 1. So either one of them. So I hope the easiest one is the last. So you replace x by lambda x and y by lambda y. And if you take the highest possible power of lambda outside, okay, the remaining should be a function of x, function of original function itself. Okay, then only you will say that's a homogeneous function. If you are not remaining with the original function, then that will not be a homogeneous function. For example, you can see this f of x comma y. Let's say this is one example. Let's say second example I can give you, that's going to be, let's say, x square plus y. Let's see this. Okay, now if you replace x by lambda x and y by lambda y, that's going to be lambda square x square plus lambda y. Now you take lambda square or lambda out, whatever. Okay, so if you take lambda out, I think lambda is lambda x square plus y. Okay, this should true for every lambda. Okay, it's not for, or may for a lambda. Okay, so if a lambda is there, you can take lambda equals to 1. Okay, but it should true for all possible lambda real values. So if you take lambda equals to 2, for example, so this is not going to be lambda to the power n times some f of x comma y. It's never going to be. So this is not homogeneous. Okay, these are the one of the way to identify whether the function is homogeneous of degree n or not. So how you are deciding degree is because of this here. So here in this case, you can see the degree is, here is 1. Here is degree is 1. Here is also degree is 1, highest possible degree. Okay, now you may certainly say, sir, I can replace here is x y and lambda y by lambda to the power n time x and lambda to the power n time y, then I will get lambda to the power n time x plus y. Okay, and I am getting lambda to the power n into f of x y. If it's a function of homogeneous function of degree 1, you can certainly go for so far if I replace this condition remains true when you take lambda is equals to lambda to the power n. Okay, right, but then so you have to look at the least power. Okay, that will give you the degree of that. Okay, so that the least power for which lambda you are getting, that lambda into f of x y or lambda square into f of x y, that's the least power, you can say. Okay, then that will decide the degree of the homogeneous function. Okay, so these are the 3 ways. I may give you another way, which is a shortcut here. Shortcut is very easy to observe here. So you can look at the term wise. Okay, you can look at the term wise. So both of the term are of degree 1. So x to the power 1, y to the power 1. So all are of degree 1, of same degree. So that should be certainly is a homogeneous function. What will be degree? Whatever the degree of each term is 1. Okay, so it's going to be a homogeneous function of degree 1. Okay, right. Now let's look at here this example. So you look at the first term. This is a function. This term is of degree 2, and the second term is of degree 1. So this never be homogeneous because both terms are not having the same degree. Homogeneity means it makes uniformity between each and every term. Okay. Now let me give you one more example because it may confuse you sometimes with the constant. So let's say I have this one example f of x comma y. Let me take one example, x plus y plus some 2. Okay, so when I'm talking about the degree of the term means I'm talking about the degree of the variables only. If the constant is there, so constant will be taken as of degree 0 when you are verifying by this method. So you see the first term is having degree 1, second term is having degree 1, third term, what will be the degree of this term is 0. Okay, so it has a degree 1, it has a degree 1, and it has a 0 because there is no variable involved. Okay, so we are not taking care of any, means if a constant is there, we just delete it, throw it out. Okay, so this will not play any role. Okay, so this will be taken as a degree 0. Okay, so so in conclusion, one of the term is having different degree than other, so it's not going to be homogeneous. Okay, let me take another example. Let's say f of x comma y is equals to, let's say, x square plus 2 times xy. Okay, let me take this. Now what you will do, so here you can see the first term is of degree 2. For the second term, you have three things in the product, 2 into x into y. So x into y is of degree 2, so this power is 1, you have to sum the index when you have the variables. So here 2 is power 1. Okay, so I am going to say that this is of degree 2 because the constant doesn't matter. Okay, so we are not going to taking care of constant, if whether it is being in the product of variable or not, doesn't matter, it is always taken as a degree 0. So now it is of degree 1, the second here x power 1 and y to the power 1, so both are of degree 1. So in the total, what will be the total degrees? 1 plus 1, that is 2. Okay, so each term is of degree 2. This is going to be homogeneous function of degree 2. Okay, so now one more example I can take is a very special type here is, you can say, let me have this is x square plus, let's say, y square times e to the power minus y by x. Okay, let me take this example here. Now, if you look at the term wise, so it is x square is of degree 2. Now, here this is a variable y square. So the first product, this is of degree 2. Okay, this is of degree 2. What about the degree of this? So certainly when you are writing in terms of Taylor's form, it's going to be power of y by x. So y by x plus is like y by x whole square, y by x whole cube, and so on. Some factor is there, 1 by 2 factorial, 1 by 3 factorial, and so on, exponential series. But whenever you are looking at y by x to the power 1, okay, so see, whenever you are replacing y by lambda y and x by lambda x, what will happen? Lambda will get cancelled. So it will remain y by x only. It doesn't matter whether you take, so see, lambda y by lambda x to the power n is same as y by x to the power n. So this can be treated as, there is no role of lambda here. Okay, so lambda no role is there, so it can be treated as like a constant term, means it can be treated as of degree 0 when you have function of y by x or function of x by y. Okay, or in other words, you can see because they are sitting in the rational wise, like 1, so denominator and numerator both are of degree 1, so 1 minus 1. So when you have in the product, you have the sum of the index. When you have the division there, then you will have the difference of the index. So 1 minus 1 is 0, so it is of degree 0. Okay, so that's one example. Now another example you can see is, let me have x square plus x times y e to the power, let's say, minus x square y, x square by y. Now the first term is of degree 2, second term, so this product is of degree 2. What about the degree of this term? So x square by y, so 2 minus 1, that is 1. So it is of degree 1. Okay, now if so now this is of degree 1. When you take x square by y, if you take means all this what is there is lambda x square, this lambda square x square by lambda y to the power n. When you replace it, this is going to be lambda to the power n time x square by y. Okay, right. So you can say, certainly say, this is of degree 1. So if such type of terms, transcendental function of which means transcendental function in which the argument is not of degree 0, that is straightforward, it is going to be non-homogeneous. Why? Because you can't take lambda outside of the transcendental function like tan inverse or sine of lambda x. So lambda cannot be taken out in any case. So you will not be able to find out lambda to the whole power into f of xy. Okay, so whenever transcendental function with argument having degree you can say non-zero degree, okay, means like 1 minus 1. So if you have x square by y square here, 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay, then you can certainly talk about the homogeneous function. Okay, if it is not of degree 0, straightforward, it is a non-homogeneous function. Or if you are not still confident, you just work out some of the examples and verify with replacing x by lambda x and y by lambda y and try to deal with it. Okay. Now, how this will help us for solving a special type of differential equation? Let us see that now. Okay. So we say a differential equation. So look at here. So we say that the first order ODE. So this is the ODE. Is homogeneous if f is homogeneous of degree 0. Okay, so we say that the first order dy by ordinary differential equation is homogeneous if the right hand side is homogeneous function of degree 0. Then we will proceed. So once if the function is homogeneous, when you have a homogeneous differential equation, then only we will proceed. Okay. In other words, I can tell is, so sometimes there may be a case like say dy by dx is equals to f of xy, and you may have the special case you have some h1 of x comma y divided by h2 of x comma y. So in this case, this f of xy is a homogeneous of degree 0. So if both of the function h1 and h2 are of same degree, then degree will get cancelled, right? If suppose h1 is a homogeneous function of degree 2, h2 is a homogeneous function of degree 2. So both are sitting in numerator and denominator. So 2 minus 2 will be, so degree will get cancelled. Like it's going to be, it totally is going to be a homogeneous function of degree 0 only. Okay, right. So we have the example, right? And now let's take one example. Let's say dy by dx equals to, let's say x minus y divided by x plus y. Okay, so now you see the numerator is of degree 1, denominator is also degree 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, or you can replace x by lambda x, y by lambda y, lambda will get cancelled. That I will also show you. That degree 0 for the in total. Then it's a homogeneous differential equation. For second, let's say dy by dx is equals to, let's say, x square plus y divided by x plus, or let's say x square plus y square divided by x plus y. So numerator is of homogeneous of degree 2, denominator is homogeneous degree 1. So 2 minus 1 in totality, it is going to be of degree 1. So it is not a homogeneous differential equation. This will not fall into this category. Okay, right. So now how to solve this type of equation is, the method is, in this case, when you have the dy by dx equals to f of x comma y is homogeneous. So homogeneous, let's say homogeneous differential equation. Then you will use the transformation. So we'll use the transformation y y equals to vx. Okay, or you can say v equals to y by x. In general, v equals to y by x. So what it turns out to be is dy by dx can be write down as v plus x times dv by dx. So why such term has been taken care is because since this is a homogeneous function, so I can write this dy by dx as is equals to you can have this is going to be is a homogeneous of degree 0 whenever homogeneous function of differential is a homogeneous differential equation is a homogeneous function of degree 0. So means you can certainly write as function of y by x or function of x by y anyway. Anyway, so it's going to be a function of, if you are going to treat as a function of y by x, then you are going to use this transformation. If you are going to assume that this is going to be a function of x by y, then you are going to use x equals to vy. Okay, so you have to change the role of x and y in that case. Okay, so due to this, because here y to the power or x to the power 0 is there. This is 1. Okay, so it's a homogeneous function of degree. This is due to that, and that transformation takes place. Now, once you are assuming this v equals to y equals to vx, then you will certainly replace dy by dx by this, and right hand side is purely the function of v only, and then you can apply the variable separation method. Okay, so let me give you stepwise once. So you have, so dy by dx equals to f of xy. Okay, so let this is be homogeneous ODE, means that is you have, this implies dy by dx is equals to some function of y by x. You can certainly write as a function of y by x. Okay, you will see in the example as well. So now use the transformation, v equals to y by x. So this gives you y equals to vx, and this will imply what is the dy by dx should be replaced is v plus x time dv by dx. So therefore you have, this is called, you can say 1, sorry, this is, you can call 1. So therefore 1 gives you, so v plus x time dv by dx equals to g of v. Now this will implies x time dv by dx is equals to gv minus v. So again, this is a function, purely is a function of v, so I can replace it by some function of h of v, and you can use the variable separable method now. Okay, so this will imply dv divided by h of v is equals to dx by x. So I hope that is correct. So dv by hv and dx by x. Okay, and then you can integrate both sides. So integration dv by h of v is equals to, so this is dx by x integration, you can write ln of x plus, okay, and at the end you will be getting this a function of v on the left side. At the end you have to replace v by y by x, okay, in the final solution. Okay, right. So let me define one more special type, and then we will look at some example. Okay, right. So let's take one more special type. Okay, so I have already explained this thing. So this you can go through when you are working with the slide. Okay, right. Now the very special type, another special type which is a non-homogeneous, but you can reduce it to homogeneous form. Okay, so like we have taken x plus y divided by x minus y, or x minus y divided by x plus y. But if you add either in numerator or denominator or on both, one of the constant x minus y plus 2 or x plus y plus 2, so that is not going to be no more homogeneous. Okay, so this is the case. Now these are the constants. So if you have numerator is in this form, some linear, right, in x and y, so a1x plus b1y plus c1, and denominator is of a2x plus b2y plus c2. Okay, now suppose what you will have is, so at least either c1 should be non-zero or c non-zero. So if both are 0, then it's a homogeneous case. Okay, that's a very one thing. Okay, now next thing is, suppose a1 by a2 is equals to b1 by b2. Suppose this is there. So in this case, what will happen? So a1 by a2 is equals to b1 by b2. Okay, and let's say this is also equals to c1 by c2. Okay, assume that they are not non-zero number. Okay, if they are zero, then we will see another case. So let's say these two identity are there. So what will happen is that, let's say you can write as some t. There are some constants. So let's say some d. Okay, sorry. This is going to be, let's say, d. So you can replace a1 by d time a2, b1 by d time b2, and c1 time d time c2, and d will be come out, and you will have dy by dx. In this case, what will happen is you will get dy by dx equals to d only. Okay, these all the ratios are equal. Suppose this that's the first case. Now second case is, you have, suppose a1 by a2 is equals to b1 by b2, but not equals to 1 by c2. Okay, so in that case, what will happen is, let's say a1 by a2 is equals to b1 by b2 is equals to, let's say, some a. Okay, so this will give you, this implies a1 is equals to a time a2 and b1 equals to a time b2. And when you use this in here, what will happen is, you have dy by dx is equals to, so a1 is equals to a time a2. Okay, a2x plus a time b2y plus c1 divide by a2x plus b2y plus c2. So what you can do is, here is the numerator you can play here. So a2x plus b2y, I can say plus c2 here, and I can adjust this here, a minus ac2, and divide by a2x plus b2y plus c2. So then what you can do is, you can replace v equals to a2x plus b2y plus c2. You can use this transformation. Okay, you can use this transformation. So this will give you dv by dx is equals to a2 plus b2 time dy by dx. And you can replace it here. What you will get is, so from here dy by dx, what it will be is dv by dx minus a2, okay, time 1 by b2. Obviously we are assuming, so whenever we are having a performing a division, so provided this b2 should not be 0. Okay, b2 should not be 0. Okay, right. So now once you have this, so what you will have here, so this implies dv by dx minus a2 time 1 by p2 is equals to, the numerator is a time v plus c1 divided by v. So it's going to be a purely is a function of some v, some, let's say, h1 of v. Okay, and you can easily solve this out. A variable separable method you can use. So use variable separable method. Okay, use variable separable method. Okay, so that I am leaving here. So I use variable separable method. Now you can see it's going to be dv by dx equals to b2 time h1v plus a2. So this again turns out to be a function of v only. So you can certainly find out the solution by using variable separable method to solve. So we can get rid of these two cases. So there is no problem to solve these cases, like whether all the ratios are same, or suppose a1 by a2 equals to b1 by b2 but not equals to c1 by c2. Now the next case, the third case is, suppose a1 by a2 is not equals to b1 by b2, then what you will do? Okay, so in that case what will happen is, so dy by dx is equals to a1x plus b1y plus c1, okay, divide by a2x plus b2y plus c2. So what we require is we require a transformation so that this turns out to be a homogeneous equation. So that's our A, non-homogeneous reduced to homogeneous, and then homogeneous we know how to handle that. Okay, now if we get rid of these constants, so if we get rid of this C1 and C2 in the new transform form, okay, somehow, okay, then the remaining, so if you hide these two, C1 and C2, this is a homogeneous form. If you hide this, C1 and C2 0. Okay, so this suggests us to transform it by x equals to, let's say, x plus h, and y equals to some y plus k. Okay, where h and k are such that a1h plus b1k plus c1 equals to 0 and a2h plus b2k plus c2 equals to 0. So you have two equations into one unknown, which can be certainly solved, since this has a unique solution. This two equations have unique solution because a1 by a2 is not equals to b1 by b2. So determinant is non-zero. So you will certainly have a unique solution. Now, why it is so? When you replace it by this, so what you will get, a1 time x plus b1 time y plus a1h plus b1k plus c1 divide by a2x plus b2y plus a2h plus b2k plus c2. So now you have two constant. So you can choose in this way such that both of this constant term should be 0. So then remaining will be remaining is a homogeneous function of degree 0. And what about the right side, left side, dy by dx? So what is dx is d capital X, because dh is 0. What is dy is d capital Y, because dk is 0, because they are both are constant. Okay, so dy by dx can be replaced by dy by dx. So if you have chosen h and k such that this happens, so the transformed equation, what will be? Okay, so the transformed equation will be you have dy by dx is equal to, not that here capital Y and capital X are there. So a1x plus b1y plus a2x plus b2y, and which is a homogeneous equation of degree 0. Okay, and you can certainly have transformation y equals to vx. Okay, that will reduce it into a variable separable form, which you can solve. So at the end you have to replace v by y by x, then you have to replace y, capital Y by y, small y minus k, and capital X y, x minus h. Okay, so you have to write the final answer in x and y, small x and y. Okay, so these are the steps to be followed when you have non-homogeneous but reducible to homogeneous form. So that's already has explained. Okay, so a1 by a2 not equals to b1 by b2. I have already discussed with this case where h and k are the solution of the system, this one, and reduces to this in the variables. And if this is there, so then the transformation that already explained to you. When these first two ratios are equal, then you can use the transformation to reduce it into variable separable form directly. Okay, right. So now these problems are a bit lengthy problems. So I want to avoid in during the lecture sessions. We may deal with these problems in during the tutorial session. So because this includes the transform into a homogeneous form. Okay, you have to transform it to homogeneous form, and then you have to transform it to a separable form. Okay, that can be certainly shown that 5 by 2 is not equals to 2 by 1. So see, whenever you are comparing the coefficients, right, a1 by a2 and a2 by b1 by b2, okay, there we are mean that coefficient of x ratios and coefficient of y ratio, if they are not in the same pattern, okay, so let's say 5x plus 2y plus 1. So here the ratio a1 by a2 is 5 by 2. What is the b1 by b2 is 2 by 1. What is c1 by c2 is 1 by 1. The coefficients of x, coefficient of y, coefficient of constant term. Okay, that you should be clear. And here, so if I want to just I'm going to give you what will be the system will be here is replace x by x plus h, y by y plus k, small y by y plus k, such that and h and k are such that they satisfy these equation 5h plus 2k plus 1 equals to 0 and 2h plus k plus 1 equals to 0. See how I have obtained this two equation by replacing x by h and y by k numerator and put that equal to 0. Similarly for the denominator and put equal to 0. Okay, now you solve these two equations, so you multiply it by 2, the second equation, and then subtract. Okay, so you try to get what is the value of h. So this is going to be 5h minus 4h, so that is going to be h. Now 1 minus 2 is minus 1 equals to 0, so h is equals to 1. Okay, so h is equals to 1. What will be the k? K is equals to minus 3. I think so, right? K equals to minus 3. So 2 plus 1 is 3. K equals to minus 3. So this should satisfy this equation as well. So 5 minus 6 plus 1, that is 0, right? So h equals to 1 and k equals to minus 3. So your transformation is now is going to be x equals to x plus 1, replace and y by y minus 3. So once you do that, you will have the following form. Okay, so you have this is dy by dx is equals to the capital here. Then transform equation is 5x plus 2y divided by 2x plus y. Now the constant term will get 0 automatically, that you can verify. Now,
Sir,
yes.
sir, is it compulsory to find values of h and k? Because if you just put small x as capital X plus h, h will get cancelled.
Where?
Not cancelled, but that 5h plus 2k plus 1 equals 0. So we don't need to find the value of h and k.
No, we need to, right? We need to specify for what values of h and k this is getting 0.
Okay, sir.
Okay, means see, this is a arbitrary transformation at present. You have to make it fixed for a particular problem. It will be different. Okay, how much x requires shifting or how much y variable requires shifting to make it homogeneous. That's required to find out. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So now if you replace y equals to vx, so that will give you dy by dx is equals to v plus x times dv by dx. Okay, and then these together here, what it will be implying is v plus x times dv by dx is equals to, now replace y by vx here, so 5x plus 2vx divided by 2x plus vx. Now x will get cancelled from numerator and denominator. What you will get is 5 plus 2v divided by 2 plus v. Okay, now you further simplify it. You take this v on the right side and what you will get is x times dv by dx is equals to, you have this is 5 plus 2v divided by 2 plus v minus v. So that's equals to, this is 2 plus v. So 5 plus 2v minus 2v minus v square. So that's going to be 5 minus v square divided by 2 plus v. Right? So now you can use variable separable method. So this implies 2 plus v by 5 minus v square. I hope you are with me that this. So dv is equals to dx by x. Arrange function of v with dv and function of x with x. Okay, now you know how to solve this equation now. So this, how to integrate this now? So you have to write this 2 divided by 5 minus v square plus v divided by 5 minus v square dv is equals to dx by x. Now you have to use here the formula, right? 1 by a square minus x square. Okay, use partial fraction if it is required. Here you have, this is the derivative of the denominator is minus 2v. So you just multiply and divide by minus 2. Okay, so integration of this here is very simple, that is ln of 5 minus v square. Okay, time minus 1 by 2. This is ln of x. So plus arbitrary constant, that also you can take ln of c for make it simplified form. And what about this 1 by a square minus x square is ln of a minus x, and that you can verify. Okay, so only required is now 1 upon 5 minus v square, so that you can, so 1 upon you have root 5 minus v and 1 upon root 5 plus v, and if you, because you are going to add them up, so root 5 plus v plus root 5 minus v will get cancelled. Okay, so root 5 is 2 root 5, so you can certainly have 1 by 2 root 5 here in the denominator, and which you can simply integrate now. Okay, so ln of a minus x is ln of a plus x. Okay, with minus sign here, with my plus sign here, and you can simply integrate both sides. Okay, so this will give you, this implies, so you have 2 divided by this, so I can certainly write it 1 upon root 5 integrating, I'm integrating both sides. So first term integration is minus ln of root 5 minus v plus ln of root 5 plus v. Okay, that's for first term. For the second term, you have minus 1 ln of 5 minus v square is equals to ln of x plus arbitrary constant, that also I can take as ln of c. Okay, and then you take multiply this 1 by 2 here, so you can make it square root of 5 minus v square. You can arrange these things, and what you have to do is you have to replace v by yx, y by x. Okay, and what is y is, you have y minus k, so what was that? Y is equals to y plus 3. Okay, so this is y plus 3 divided by x is x minus 1 finally, so that you can replace it by this, we can replace at the end by this. Okay, that will give you the final solution. Okay, fine, I think we can close here. Okay, so this includes both the cases now, homogeneous case and non-homogeneous case. Okay, rest you can see in the tutorial.